Hello again, traders. Right, this is a very impulsive, impromptu, off-the-cuff video, prompted by a question about the by DM, would I produce a chart that looks like Vic Sperandio's 2B reversal charts for the 3CR? And the person on DM knows who he is. Well, it could be a she, actually, I'm not sure. They asked me to produce this chart, and I wrote back saying it's impossible, really, because the 3CRs are far more sort of complicated than those 2B reversals. And then I had never really asked myself why, and quite simply it occurred to me that the 2B reversal is a swing pattern, the 3CR is a candle pattern, and that's it. But then I felt that wasn't enough of an explanation of the differences, as it were, and how to view them. And it came to me something that I've never ever talked about before in videos or put on Twitter, is that you will find 2B reversals inside the candle pattern of the 3CR. So you need to study your 3CR videos on my YouTube channel, do search on my Twitter feed to look at all the different pictures of 3CRs. And remember, a 3 candle reversal isn't just 3 candles. It can be 4 candles, 8 candles, 10 candles, whatever. It is just the 3 candles. The penultimate is number 1, the ultimate, so in the penultimate high, then the ultimate high, and then the reversal candle. And then you get the pullback, which will be effectively swing 4, and swing 5 is the impulse move. So that there on BTC, interesting to note that it's nowhere near 100k yet, since what, April 21 it collapsed from 65. All the pumpers and criminals telling you to keep buying are just that, pumpers and criminals, really. So here is your first candle. Here is your second candle. And remember now, the 2B reversal is a swing pattern. The 3CR is a candle pattern. But as I said to this person on DM, is the 3CR is like a statement of intent. It's a break of, in this instance, demand that gets tested after it's broken with the close below the low of the penultimate. It pulls back, tests old levels broken, so it's come back to test this low that created this higher high here, almost, not quite, but so there's this congestion area here. In fact, you can clearly see what it has tested. That's the what I call the flip zone, or the price pivot zone if you follow James 16 on Forex Factory, PPZ, or the battleground. I've coined a new phrase, as it were, of buyers and sellers and buyers. It's come back and tested it to see whether it is, another phrase that people use, fair value. So how will it know whether it wants to go up unless it tests the level? How will it know whether it's going to continue down unless it tests the level? Excuse me. You know, like gold, say, I like to use that expression. If gold hits 2,000 and then goes up to 2,500, how will they know whether 2.5 is the right price for gold for buying, or 2? And they come back and test 2, and if people buy, then they'll know that's the this sort of balanced price. So anyway, sorry, I've digressed a little bit, but here we have our 3CR pattern. So as I said to the DM person, it's an intention. It's, you know, if you hadn't have got Aaron's fantastic indicator here telling you we'd got a 3CR, or here for example, or here for example, how have you got any sort of indication, using our method, of course, my method, of a possible break of old supply acting as new demand? And that is what the 3CR does. So when you get a 3CR, really and truthfully, it is giving you a heads up that any pattern, whether it's head and shoulders reversals, M's or W's or whatever people choose to trade, or in fact call those patterns, because people make up all these different names, me included with the 3CR of course. You've got to have something to identify a method by or a pattern by. So, you know, some people call them 3-bar reversals, hammer reversals, shooting stars, whatever, but they all have their different little reasons for confirming them. So anyway, back to dropping down the time frame. So we've got our levels here. We might as well draw, because that will disappear, draw a horizontal on the 3CR as well there, and then we can drop down and start to see the internals. Excuse me, I haven't even had a coffee yet, that's how impulsive this video was. So we should have our vertical lines on there. Excuse me, there they are. And now we can see the internal swings, easier to see on the line chart. Oops, told you I was half asleep, no coffee. Oh no, I need to take the scroll off. There we go, sorry, painful, I know. And then we can see the internal swings. So the last high is that level there, looking at the swings and 2B type pattern. And you can clearly see what's happened. I haven't rehearsed this, as it were, this is off the cuff, but we can clearly see that old true level of support, because it broke that high and created a new high, has been broken with a trend high low, lower high, lower low, pullback and continuation. So if you're trying to understand whether a 3CR or how to trade a 3CR using the 2B reversals, that's exactly how you do it. You know, the lower time frames, there are 3CRs here. We can clearly see we've got one there, and that will work the same way as the one I've just showed you. And we can clearly see price did come back and test this area. There's a flip zone there with a bit of a gap on it. In other words, the close price dropped down to open lower, and hey presto, that gap, that's what I'm talking, a high price dropped down, opened, gaps in other words, on this daily chart overnight for whatever reason, and then it's used that gap area as the new test area, as it were. So none of this is precise. You could put it on the low of the candle. Well, it is precise, sorry, but none of it is in stone. Why didn't that I don't want to have to make this video again, so that's strange. It's not flipping to it. It must be behind that blue level there. Yeah, there it is. So as you can see, that's the low of the candle, that green level there, and as you can see, price did pop back and test that almost to the micro pip. So numerous ways to understand the interaction, if you like, of the two patterns. The 3CR is a statement of intent, not contempt. Get that coffee down me. And it gives us the added reason, if you like, to consider the 2B to be more of a better signal, if you like, to be more positive, to have more confidence to take it. And that's the original 3CR level, remember, from Aaron's fantastic indie. Why isn't this scrolling across? Let's put the scroll back on. That's the original level. That's the 3CR break, where the old buyers have been broken and confirmed by the sellers, and then you can see it's come back. It's done what I used to call the swan song, well I still do, where we break down and then it pulls back. And notice also this is that ABC pullback, so if you'd been faked into the short before you'd had your three-phase pullback, then you would have got a world of pain. And that, so we've had numerous things that I've noticed about price action. The even the world of pain pullback there, back to the 34 and 89 EMAs. All of this stuff on my charts is on there for a reason. This is thousands of hours of observation, and we see it time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. So no surprises that pulled back to this descending trend line here either. You know, this stuff, I can do this in my sleep now, you know. Ascending trend line there. You can see these spikes are non-existent when you switch to the line chart. Low, high, high, low, higher, high, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. And notice there's your ABC pattern. A, up, B and C. 1, 2, 3. Elliott wavers like to call it the ABC. There's probably 5 here. Swing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. All of this is off the cuff without having had even a sniff of a coffee yet. So 3CR reversals will give our higher time frame methods of understanding lower time frame, higher time frames, candlestick methods, a way of looking at lower time frame swing methods and how they tie in. 3CRs, 2B reversals, reverse head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, W and M patterns, you name it. The 3CR will tie in with all of them and just give you that extra smidgen of confidence to enter the trade and a better understanding of supply and demand. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope that helps.